Hi folks, today we are going to do something that some people have been requesting, which is how do we recover a wallet.dat, so a wallet file from zcashd when it's impossible, you cannot run zcashd for whatever reason. So either you're way behind the blockchain, you don't have enough bandwidth, or your machine is simply out of commission. And whenever you start zcashd, there's um, there's like segmentation fault or something. All right, so in that case, you would assume that you have kept the wallet file, wallet.d, that sorry, wallet.dat, but somehow you can't use it with zcashd. So to simulate that situation, what I'm going to do is create a new wallet. Um, so that's not exactly the same thing, but I think it's going to be similar. So if I want to create a new wallet, I need to create a directory called .zcash. And in that directory, I need to, oh, sorry for the noise behind. I need to create at least a file that is zcash.conf. Once I have that, I should be able to start zcashd. And I can't. What's going on here? Okay, so probably put in the wrong directory. Yes, that's not here. The directory should be called .zcash. Oh, I have, okay, I'm stupid. I put a slash, which is that, and then dot zcash.conf. And now I should be able to start zcashd. Alright, so when it starts, it's gonna load the wallet, which has no transaction currently. And also it's gonna sync up with the blockchain. It's a new blockchain. Well, it's a new installation. So I'm at Genesis, at block 0. And it's going to take a really long time since now the blockchain is more than 100 gigabytes. I'm going to let it run, but I don't have any hope of downloading the blockchain in such a short time. So what I'm going to do instead is access this wallet. So to send this window somewhere else. I'm going to access this wallet and see what I can what addresses I have. So that would be list addresses. And currently I don't have any address. So I need to create a new one. So see new address, sapling. Just not new address. Get new address. All right. So I'm gonna say, please acknowledge that you have backed up the wallet emergency recovery phrase by using the what's that? zcashd wallet 2. I don't remember stuff, unfortunately. Oh, it looks like zcashd is running without export here. Wow. Great. Let's do that then. Export here equal. All right, let's put it inside the same directory, zcash. Okay, so we'll go back and then we'll do this. All right. Enter the file name for the wallet export file. Default sounds good for me. And then the recovery phrase is this stuff. Please write it down because I'm gonna copy paste this information and save it inside a file called passphrase. Okay. And then the phrase will disappear and you have to enter the password. Okay, let's do that. The 10th word is float, 25th village, and the first is lucky. All right, so I backed it up. And now they ask me to restart this stuff, but without the export the option. So let's do that. And so it's here, the cache and no export. All right, so this file we already need. And this one, all right, so I should be able to get new address now. Okay, so I have a one address. Let's get a couple of this. So I have 4 addresses now. List addresses determines these 4 addresses. And we have our wallet.dat. All right. So let's say, assume now that we cannot run zcashd, so I'm going to stop it. All right. And the only thing we can use is this wallet file. So let's get it out of here, move it to a temp directory. Let's copy this and move it here. It's the only thing we have. So a couple of things we need to know is that this wallet file, if it's encrypted and you don't know the password, well, there's nothing you can do. It's not going to be possible to recover any key if that wallet is encrypted. But encrypting the wallet is experimental feature, and you're most likely not going to have an encrypted wallet. So you should be golden. The second thing to know is that this wallet is a binary file. If you do wallet.dat, it tells you that this is a Berkeley DB file of type B3 and version 10. This version 10 is a fairly recent one, so the tools to analyze or look into this type of file is usually not available on a standard Linux distribution. The tool I'm talking about is called db dump. So there's a db dump on my installation, which is a Arch Linux 519. So it's pretty recent distribution. But if I try to dump this file, if I try to do this, it says that that's unsupported version 10. And that's because this version 10 is more recent than my version of dbdump. My version of dbdump is 5.3, and this at least requires 6.2. So what you need to do is go and download Berkeley DB 6.2. And by the way, if you have you don't have a Linux machine, I can close this. If you don't have a Linux machine, you have a Windows machine, I think you can do this in Windows subsystem for Linux. So install Ubuntu there, and you should be fine. The main point is that you need the Berkeley DB 6.2 in order to dump this database. Luckily for me, I don't have to actually go and install it from binary. But if you are using Ubuntu, what you need to do is exactly that. You download this tar.gz, decompress it, and run this command to make it. So it's not super complicated, but it's some work. What I can do in my system is use an installer for the Berkeley DB 6.2. So that's pretty much the same thing as doing the build by hand. So this is going to download the binary file that we have up there, and it's going to decompress, right? You can see extracting, and then it's going to build it. So it's already made because I've done this before. So it's not going to build it, it's just going to install the package. The one thing that I need to be careful is that this version of DB 6.2 is going to be in conflict with the one that I have in my system. So sadly, Berkeley DBs are not upward compatible. So 6.2 is not compatible with 5.3, and if I install this guy, I need to uninstall DB. So I need to do that. There's no much choice. So yes, I remove DB, and so it's removed, and I install in the new one. Now that I've done this, I should be able to dump this wallet file. Wallet.dat. Yeah, you have a bunch of how it works, and you have this output, which is a text file, but as you can see, it's a text file full of hex strings. So let's save that into a file. Let's call it wallet.dump DMP, and take a quick look at what's inside. We have a header, which indicates the type of the file is a B3, and some other stuff, right? The database name. But what we really care about is this whole series of hex values, and this represents the the database dump, the dump of the data. The Berkeley DB is a fairly low level, as you can see, database. So everything is just a collection of key value pairs. So this is for each record, we have a key, and then we have a value. We have a key. Each line is either then a key and then a value. Next line, a key and a value, and so on and so forth. So we have a bunch of these, and clearly it's not something that we hope to be able to read ourselves. So I've written a small program to do that. And the program is here. It's not a complicated one. It's very straightforward actually. So it's written in Rust. It's under the same project as zWallet. So you can go to GitHub and look at zcash sync. So if you pull the master the master branch of zcash sync, you will find that inside source main we have this file here, wallet. Which is not really a wallet. The name is terrible. But that's this file here is the file that I'm showing here. Let's see what it does. It starts the logger and it looks at this environment file, looking for this particular. So what it tells me is that I need to create a .env, and that .env I need to put wallet dump path and set it to the path where I have my wallet file. So that would be that guy. I think that's the path. Okay. Then this program will open that file, read the content line by line. This is the purpose of this line here, reader line by line, and skip the header. So we skip everything until we reach the line that says header end, and from there we do this code, which alternates between reading the key and then reading the value until we reach the line that says data end. And then we break out of this loop and it's the end of the program. So the main thing here is simply that we read keys on odd lines and we read values on even lines. When the key is we read the key here, we have to decode the hex as a UTF-8 string. And when the key is equal to sap zk, sap zk, it means that the value is a sapling key. So that's how zcash stores sapling keys. It simply stores them as in the Berkeley database as entries that have this key sap zk. And Berkeley for Berkeley DB, you can have multiple values for the same key. So it's not an issue to have the same key string here. All right. So once we have found something that has a value that is associated with the key subc key, we decode the value as a hex string, and we use and we interpret that as an extended spanning key that we can print out. Right. So the code itself is pretty simple. You need Rust to compile it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to clone this code. I'm going to clone this guy here. So clone as HTTP. Go into zcash sync and then build. To build, you need Rust, and to have Rust, of course, you need to install Rust if you don't already have it. To install Rust, you just go here, and there's the getting started. So I'm not going to do this. I assume that you already have Rust. If you don't, you just follow these directions here. All right. So what are we going to do now? We're building, and we're building the binary that's called wallet. So let's do this. Downloading the dependencies. Oh, I also need to have features.net. Because it should be like that. There's a lot of dependencies, but really that's because this is the same code that also does warp sync. So 99% of these dependencies are not needed. But anyway, there's no point in trying to create the Linux program when that's something that we use like one time only. It should be still fast enough to compile because Rust is a fairly fast language. Well, not really, but all right. Anyways, this is done, and we have a debug binary for wallet. So we can run it. All right. Give it hex character. What do we have here? H index 0. All right. So I fixed some bugs. Let's try again with some stuff for me. Cargo run clean wallet features .NET. All right. So when you run this time it works, and it gives you the four private keys. So you just then need to take these four private keys and input them into a Y wallet. Or yeah, I think it's the only wallet that actually takes sapling secret keys. So in any case, you have now your secret keys. All right, so this is how you can recover your wallet if zcashd doesn't work. So not simple at all. It's not something that we should do every day, of course. But if nothing else works, then at least you will have a way to get your funds out.